Hello, everyone. My name is Lethyrael, aka Epic Mike 16. You'll find me on twitch.tv/epicmike16. I'm here with another background voice you'll hear for some of these episodes. He is Big KO26. We are anticipating the Switch 2. The Switch 2 comes with GameCube Classics with your Nintendo membership, which is really, really cool. But one of the games I anticipate is going to have a lot of questions. And those questions are going to deal with F-Zero GX. And those questions are related to story mode and quite typically gameplay and how to beat some things. And although I will primarily be focusing on story mode, I'm starting from a new save file to get you started. So let's start with the new memory cards in slot A. There's my name, Lethy. And this will be done on the Dolphin version, so I hope you don't mind. But it'll translate really well to to your Switch 2 variant. So to start you off, your controls are as follows. A is your acceleration button. Y is your boost. X is a tackle button, kind of like a tackle. It's like a side swipe button where you can hit the person immediately to your left or right. Z button on your GameCube controller will spin you, and that can attack enemies, or you can use it to slow down. L and R are your drift, and B is brake. Let's start with the Grand Prix, and you're going to start off with 4 racers here, and you can start on novice, standard, or expert for the sake of kind of tutorialing here. There is a master option too, and to get a master, you have to expert these 3: Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. So let's start with Ruby. Ruby's the easiest, and we'll go course by course, and we'll see what you like. You only get 4 machines at the start. Start with which one you like. Through this run through, it'll be Blue Falcon for most of it, and then if you don't like Blue Falcon, the one I go to is the Shadow right here, which is Astro Robin. I like Astro Robin because he has high acceleration and more control on everything, whereas this is all about Captain Falcon's kind of the happy medium of everything. So we start with Mute City Twist Road, and one weird thing about this game is the AI is sometimes tethered and changes based on where you change your balance. Max speed means that the enemies like, let's say, Black Bull or any of the high speed ones are going to be very, very fast and harder to keep up with. Whereas acceleration kind of slows all the vehicles down and it becomes a little more slower paced. I like to go 85-90% in that range. So let's begin. So, Mute City Twist Road. This one is your standard learning course. I'm pretty sure you saw it on the treehouse. I'm not too sure how the quality is going to be. Oh yeah, we're starting out great. So mind you, there's going to be a bit of an adjustment here. So boost panels in the middle. Those are your boosts. That's your health. And the first lap, you don't really need to get too aggressive. Like, sometimes I like to kind of like go up to somebody and then do side and X button to get an attack. And then this one, you're boosting all the way through. Sometimes I tap the R button very, very slightly once or twice. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, he's gonna laugh at me. There's a bit of delay with this version. I actually should be pulling out my.
There'll be a delay on the Switch Online version. So
yeah, but not this bad. I actually think I should like optimize it or like lower the resolution because I think it's like it's a dolphin error. We'll go with it though.
So don't do that.
Don't do that. Deaths, like, don't take them too hard. You get 3 on expert, and then you get only 1 retry on master, and that's where it's gonna hurt the most.
4 for standard and 5 for novice.
So do that. Hit the boost here, and then this is looking a lot better. And you generally through this one, you're going to keep boosting with Falcon. And by the time you can choose to boost those 2 boosts, by the way. However, I elected not to in order to keep my health up. Because sometimes you can get clipped at this later part here. And that just kills you. And then through this, you just hit the health back. And you boost all the way to the end. There's nothing really going to stop you Sometimes on Master, you'll have like one or two speedy guys get you first or second. But the important thing is it's a Grand Prix, right? So you don't generally getting first in this one quite easy. Getting first in the next stage quite easy, and at that point you don't need to be first for the third stage, which is going to be one of the more problematic ones in the cup here. So this is Casino Palace Split Oval. Split Oval, just like in the treehouse, if you've been watching that, they fell off because they went too fast. Looks like it's going to carry over. Yeah, there we go. All right. So you can start next to your rival, which is a Twin Narita. Usually it's them. They'll blast off, and sometimes you can just kind of go up to a vehicle and just side swipe, and you'll get some extra health. Doing that is super good. Here you want to kind of watch your weaves through. Take the right path, so you always hit the boost path there. You don't need to have your HP all the way up here. And then we start. That's the first lap. It's not really much turning, but you're going to be very gentle on your L stick. You got boost power. Here we go. Again, watch your management, right? You don't need to boost through all of it. And while we're boosting here, you don't have to hit the wall like that. But right about here is that point where you start flying off. You need to kind of slow down. And then, not to worry, you'll have lots of boost pads left to kind of keep your momentum, right? Keep yourself up with some grains of health here. Usually don't want to be too far in the red, right? We go into the boost pad. And then you're going to boost all the way to the end. And, right, this is that point, right? Slow down. You can press B to slow down for a brief second. It's not going to hurt you. Even if you end up second, it's fine. I presume it's going to run at a better resolution and frame rate than what I got going here, but it's doable. So we got 200 points. Not much room for error. We got Twin Naritas with 180 there. Okay, Sand Ocean Surface Slide. I rarely get first in all the time. Purely because it's just really, it's kind of like a lot of boost management, and your final lap, you just never have enough. There's not much health through the race. In fact, there's only one health pad, and it's at the very start of the race. So, oh, it's actually Red Skull in second. Yeah, thank you. He's going to be correcting me. Here we go. So, there's that Z attack there, by the way, minus the little freeze there. That Z spins you, and you can like kind of lean into other racers, and that chips off their HP for a bit. But I always elect to go through the side swipe here. Depending on your acceleration, you're going to want to drift just slightly, like you left on the L stick, and then you just kind of gently go through the race. We'll talk about some of the other racers here, depending on which one you like. Bear in mind that this run through, it's not going to have any snaking or any crazy strategies that you see. Generally, this is just for casual people wanting to get all the characters and do the storylines, right? And unfortunately, to get most of the characters here. Ooh, that hurts. Okay, so I did manage to fill my range here, but I'm going to be a bit behind, which is okay. Generally, I want to focus on eliminating my rival after the amount of points that he has. Boost on the straightaway. See, there's a person killed. You got a little skull in the top left there. I want to work my way up to him. And if you feel like you're running low on boost, try and kill someone. It'll restore a tiny bit of health. So this guy. Ooh. So what I did there is I boost and I boost into his Z, which kind of like launches me up. I should have been boosting earlier, but I'm really low on HP. We're gonna let people pass by us. Typically, I don't want to make myself 30th, but I genuinely always take a hit on this race. Straight away. There's another person. I got a little more boost from that. Right. Generally, you don't want to be too crazy on this course. There's getting clipped or losing a bit of HP is kind of punishing, especially for the end. And now we're near the end. We're gonna boost all the way. right? Not first, but it's good enough. You don't have to be perfectionist in all the courses, right? You just have to get first place in terms of points at the end. Okay, Lightning Loop Cross. Not really a problematic stage. However, there is a cycle of turns right at the start. You'll see them right about there. That it's kind of like a Tokyo drift all the way up. You know, when they're going through the little hallway. I like to have just a little bit more turn, so I turned down my max speed a little with Falcon there. But once you do Falcon once, you can pretty much pick anyone on the cast to unlock, but you only have a certain amount of tickets. And I know I'm going to story, but I tend to get all my tickets first and do the story in one run. So, pathway is much more narrower. Sometimes the middle like dotted lane, usually where you see the white stripes on the road. Sometimes that could be pushed up and there'll be a slight curve in the middle of the road. And sometimes it'll be downward. You just kind of like get a feel for it. Uh, for those two split pathways, you can choose to go on one side or the other. If you're going for a really good first lap, go left and right, and in your final laps, your subsequent laps, you go right and left for your split path there. Okay, there's the tricky turn there. Killed my Astro Robin, how dare I? Here is that the first turn. Not so bad, there's the lap. So, you can boost a little. There is a slight chance, depending on how fast you go, that you could whiff off the stage, right? There's that moment. I'm going to press Z, ensure my safety in case someone runs into me. And these are the only health packs on the road. So I like to conserve, wait for the lap, right? And then sometimes when you're going fast, on this curve down right here, I have slipped off. So you don't have to brake as easily, but it's important to know you could if you're whizzing along on a different max speed run or using a racer that has a lot of boost, you can be yeeted off the course. I love the music in this game. Okay, right, and then left, and then now we can pretty much boost the entire thing. Watch your interactions with other racers, right? After you come across that joint section there, you're going to enter the loop to go on the other side of the road. There's that part you could fall off on. I'm probably not going to get first here. I'm not comfortable with my HP right now. But honestly, this course, not so bad. There it is. Some people like to hit the wall before they hit that. I think it's too risky. I just go for it. Like you don't have to yeet yourself off it. Okay, the next one is my favorite stage in the game, bar none, Aeropolis Multiplex. There we go. So, Aeropolis Multiplex is your first instance of having to hard drift right or left. Picture it as like Mario Kart. When you enter your drift, you press left and the direction you're going to go in at the same time. You're going to press left and the R button, or right and the R button, or left and the L button at the same time to do a nice cut turn. So, a little bit of slowdown there, not a big deal. There's also a little boost pad there that doesn't give you boost, but it flies you in the air, and those are really effective at controlling.
You meant to say jump lately, a little jump.
Yeah. And then this is also one of the more problematic turns first if you haven't done this yet. What I do is I'm holding the A button. I am going to hold left and the L button to drift myself left. I was turning one sharp turn left. But I'm also going to press the Z button to kind of curve myself nicely around it like that. And that gets you on that nice turn here. Generally, it's better you hit the ground first too. Missed the boost pad, but this thing too, you're just gonna like thread the needle there. You don't have to press Z through that; it's a little easier. Boost pad on the left, patch of dirt, boost pad on the right, boost pad in the center. And then I like to go on the far outside, boost in. And next thing you'll notice is there are mines here. And mines will be important in one of the story missions quite a while later. But what you do need to know is if you have a full health bar, hit a mine. And you'll get a little speed boost with it. Some people like to deactivate their mines. Okay, so here comes the lap. Boost pad over. Drift yourself right. Right in R. Hit. And then I'm going to then boost after. And then you're going to boost right off this hill here and hold straight up. And that's going to bring you straight down. Get your HP. Thread the needle if you want to take your time on this turn. That's fine. And then I like to hit the boost. Hit the sand pile. Go through the sand pile. Hit the boost. Go through the sand pile. Hit the boost. Hit the boost. Hit the boost. Go through the sand pile because you'll run into nobody.
Also, a third chapter requires you to do that. So.
There's going to be, yeah. Chapter 8, that's going to be fun.
Chapter 6, that would be the same.
Was it 6?
Yeah, chapter
Oh,
6
yeah,
is the
no.
bomb
You're
mission.
talking about the bomb mission.
The bombs is 8, the sand is 6.
Okay, here we go. Boost. Hold up. Fly to your HP pad. Again, just adapt your character to whatever I am doing. Sometimes some characters get more air based on them having. Ooh. Here we go. Hit your boost pad. Avoid the mine. You don't need to hit them right now. You know, lead computer's pretty far. So that's your first standard cup.
And that's how you would beat Ruby Cup on Extra, essentially. That's the idea strat.
Yep. We'll end the video here, and we're going to do the Sapphire Cup in the next video.